This is the reminder move for ATM lesson number 82, a clock in front of the face. So please lie on your back with both of your arms on either side of your body and gently scan yourself. And notice which of the spaces or where your body lifts away from the floor and where your body presses down into the floor. Now, after you get a good idea of what type of contact you have with the ground, please put your feet standing on the floor. And with your head, turn your nose in the air so your nose will draw a circle. So make a circle with your nose. Your head stays in contact with the ground. So as your head is lying down, you're going to draw a circle with your nose. And as your head, or as your nose draws a circle, you can notice that the back of your head also draws a circle on the ground. So this clock is directly in front of your face. And you're drawing a circle around that clock with your nose. So a clockwise direction, nice and easy, around in a circle. And then notice what you feel when you turn your head around or your nose around in a circle. Notice that, and then shift your intention over to the back of your head. And notice how the contact of your ground, the head on the ground, notice how that feels as you turn your head around. And then do your best to do the same thing together. So notice what goes on with your nose, and notice what goes on with the pressure on the back of your head. So you're trying to focus on two different things at the same time. And then leave this alone and notice that a little bit has changed the impression of you on the ground. Now, this time, as you're lying down on the ground, there's going to be a bigger clock that you're lying on top of. So if you lift the lower back away from the ground and your coccyx, or the tip of your tailbone, pushes down into the ground, that's 6 o'clock. And then as you press your back down into the ground, your lower back into the ground, and lift your tailbone away from the ground, not your whole pelvis, but just the tip of your tailbone, and press your lower back into the ground, that's 12 o'clock. And so you want to listen where and in what place, how that pressure passes through your pelvis or through your sacrum. And as you go back and forth from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock, does it pass exactly in the middle? And it might not. It might be over to the side, it might be your right side, maybe your left side. But look to feel the pressure of your pelvis as you lean through from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And then start to do this movement a little bit faster, a little bit simpler, a little bit easier. And then leave this alone, let your arms go down by your sides and your legs go long. And again, just notice if you have a different impression of you into the ground. And again, go ahead and bend your knees, have your feet standing, and lift your coccyx up so your pelvis presses on 12. So you're at 12 o'clock on the clock, and then start to move so your pelvis presses over towards 1 o'clock. And then come back to 12, and then go to 2 o'clock, and come back to 12, and then over to 3 o'clock, and back to 12. And then start to go from 12 o'clock all the way around in a circle. So 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on all the way around. And see if that's a little bit easier, a little bit smoother. And then leave this alone, let yourself rest for a moment. And then again, bend your knees, have your feet flat on the floor, and this time lift your back so your coccyx, so the tip of your tailbone, presses down on 6 o'clock. And move your pelvis in a way so that you press towards 7 o'clock, and then back. And then 7, 8 o'clock, and then back. And then 7, 8, 9 o'clock, and back. And notice that that first quadrant, that little bit that you do easier, slower, softer, simpler, is a little bit easier to move as you begin to move around in a circle. And then continue doing circles clockwise all the way through your pelvis and see if it's easier and smoother. And then leave this alone and let yourself rest. Let your legs go long and your arms come down by your sides. And then again, bend your knees, have your feet flat on the floor, and go back to drawing a circle with your nose clockwise. And then let your head rest and do clockwise circles with your pelvis. And then start to see if you can do your nose and your pelvis at the same time. And then start to switch and take both your head and your pelvis together counterclockwise. And then leave this alone, let yourself rest. Now, as you're lying on your back, go ahead and bend your knees, have your feet flat on the floor, and begin to turn your head clockwise, so make a circle with your nose. And allow your pelvis to go clockwise as well, so your head and your pelvis are doing the same thing. And now, as you turn your head clockwise, begin to turn your pelvis counterclockwise. So your head clockwise and your pelvis counterclockwise. And just notice how that feels as it goes all the way up through your spine to do a different twisting and turning. And then leave this alone, lie on your back and rest. And notice if that impression, how that contact with the ground is different. Less space underneath your body, different contact, softer, easier, lighter. And enjoy this lesson. Leave me a note down below and let me know what you think. And if there's anything I can do for you, I'd be happy to help. Take care of yourself and have a good night.